The cola wars are at their peak. Coca-Cola owns half the planet. Pepsi is the scrappy underdog throwing punches. And then Pepsi launches the most audacious marketing campaign in beverage history. Drink Pepsi, win stuff. The ad is pure 90s insanity. A teenager walks into school wearing Pepsi-branded gear. The narrator lists prices. T-shirt, 75 Pepsi Points. Leather jacket, 1,450 Pepsi Points. And then this happens. A military AV-8 Harrier Jump Jet lands on the school lawn. The kid climbs out, puts on sunglasses. Harrier Fighter Jet, 7 million Pepsi Points. America laughed. It was brilliant, absurd, obviously a joke. Except to one guy. His name was John Leonard. He was 21 years old, a business student. And he saw something Pepsi didn't, a loophole. Not just any loophole, a loophole so massive, so perfectly legal, that it would drag Pepsi into court, humiliate their legal team, and change advertising law forever. This is the story of the man who tried to buy a $33 million fighter jet for the price of a used Honda Civic. John Leonard was not your typical college kid. While his friends were shotgunning beers and failing Econ 101, Leonard was reading the fine print of Pepsi's rules. Here's how the contest worked. Buy Pepsi products, collect points from bottle taps and specially marked cans, redeem points for prizes. Simple, standard, boring. But then Leonard noticed something in the official rules. Pepsi points can be purchased directly for 10 cents each. Read that again. You didn't have to drink a single drop of Pepsi. You could just buy the points. Leonard did the math. The commercial said the Harrier Jet cost 7 million Pepsi points. At 10 cents per point, that's $700,000. A real AV-8 Harrier Jump Jet cost the U.S. military $33.8 million. Leonard would be getting a 4,700% return on investment. But Leonard didn't have $700,000. He was a college kid. So he did what any future Wall Street psychopath would do. He found investors. Enter Todd Hoffman, a wealthy businessman who thought this was either genius or insane, maybe both. Hoffman put up $5,000 to test the system. Leonard sent Pepsi a check for $700,008.50. Wait, why the extra $8.50? Shipping and handling. This absolute legend included shipping and handling for a 16,000-pound military aircraft. On March 27, 1996, Leonard sent Pepsi a check for $700,008.50, 15 original Pepsi points, and an official order form requesting 1 Harrier Jet. And then he waited. Imagine being the Pepsi intern who opened that envelope. Pepsi's response was swift and dismissive. They sent Leonard a letter. It read, "The Harrier Jet in the commercial was simply included to create a humorous and entertaining advertisement. We apologize for any confusion." They returned his check. But here's the kicker. They also sent him $700,008 worth of Pepsi coupons as a consolation prize. Leonard didn't want coupons. He wanted his jet. So he sued. Leonard versus Pepsico, Inc., Southern District of New York, 1999. Leonard's argument was airtight. Your Honor, Pepsi made an offer. I accepted. They advertised a specific price. I paid it. This is a legally binding contract. And technically, he was right. Under contract law, an advertisement can constitute an offer if it's specific enough: price, item, terms. The commercial had all three. Pepsi's lawyers panicked because if they lost this case, they wouldn't just owe Leonard a jet, they'd owe every single person who saw the commercial and collected points a jet. The liability would be in the billions. The case landed in front of Judge Kimba Wood, and Pepsi's defense was creative. They argued three things. 1. The commercial was obviously a joke. A teenager flying a $33 million military aircraft to high school? Come on. 2. The jet wasn't even in the catalog. Only items in the catalog were valid prizes. 3. Even if Pepsi wanted to give him a jet, it's illegal. The Harrier is a weapon of war. Federal law prohibits the sale of military aircraft to civilians without demilitarization. Leonard's team fired back. Your Honor, Pepsi didn't say it was a joke. They said 7 million points. They allowed points to be purchased. They cashed our check. They created the rules. They're bound by them. But then the judge asked the question that ended the case. Would a reasonable person believe that Pepsi was offering to provide a Harrier Jet as part of a soft drink promotion? In legal terms, this is called the reasonable person standard, and Judge Wood ruled no reasonable person would think a soda company is giving away weapons of war. She called the commercial puffery, exaggerated advertising that no one is supposed to take literally. Case dismissed. Leonard lost. But here's the beautiful irony. Pepsi was so rattled by this lawsuit that they changed the commercial. In later airings, the Harrier Jet now cost 700 million Pepsi Points. They also added a disclaimer, "Just kidding." That's right, a billion-dollar corporation had to explicitly say "just kidding" because one college student called their bluff. The case became a staple in every Contracts 101 class in America. Leonard versus Pepsico is now the gold standard for teaching offer versus invitation to treat and the doctrine of puffery. And it's why every single commercial today has 47 disclaimers in microscopic font at the bottom of the screen. As for Leonard, he never got his jet, but he got something better: immortality. He's a legend in business schools, a case study, a meme before memes existed. Here's the lesson. Corporations learned they can't joke anymore. Every word, every number, every image in an ad is now lawyered to death. Pepsi spent millions defending this case, and they won, but they also lost something intangible: the ability to be bold and ridiculous without 10,000 asterisks. Today, advertising is safer, duller, more honest, sure, but also more boring. And it's all because one guy looked at a fighter jet in a Pepsi commercial and thought, "I want that." Was Leonard entitled? Maybe. Was he wrong? Legally, yes. But was he legendary? Absolutely. So the next time you see a commercial promising you the world for 3 easy payments of $19.95, remember John Leonard. Because somewhere there's a guy reading the fine print, and he's about to ruin someone's day. If you want more stories about people who broke the system, hit subscribe. Next week, the guy who trademarked the word "the" and won. See you then.